Good morning. Have you ever had chance to speak to a girl who has been used and abused? When you talk to her, you find she's already on the next stage. You try to speak about something about life to, a conversation. She heard that already. She is next one. She heard that. You try to crack some jokes or to use a sense of humor, not necessarily to flirt with her. She has passed that already. You try to speak about what is the pleasure of life. Le bonheur, c'est la vie, la vie. She passed that already, even though she's young. As I said, the one who was used and abused. Another case. Have you ever had the chance to speak to someone who is stressed out, anxiety, irritation, at a psychiatric hospital? Not necessarily the person who is out of control, like those, who seek constantly assistance. No. You try to talk to the person, such a person, you find him, he has passed that already. You try to talk about something in general, not necessarily to speak to him as a spectator or as a doctor. No, just sharing. He has passed that already. So you crack some jokes, sense of humor, whatever. No, he's there already. He passed it. If you try to enter from the window, you know what I mean, to approach the situation, to speak, he intercepts you there before you reach that point. He is aware of that. I know what you mean. Look, I know that already. Is there space left for both cases? It's like they passed it. And between brackets, talking about the one with stress, find them very smart. I don't exaggerate when I say very smart or very, very. I use it twice. Yeah, very, very smart. Sometimes when a psychiatrist talks to them, he doesn't know where to approach them anymore, except by prescribing Prozac and keep going. You understand? They passed him already. They are. What do we see in both cases? The girl who's been used and this person. It's like there's no space. There's no age. The age, the empty space, the age and the space and the time that is in the future, next week. There's no next week. There's no next month. There is no longevity in the time. The age is, that's it, it's here. The age, the future becomes a present and then archived already. So why is this? If there is no age, that's it, that's the depression. Left in the neuron, the age is existing outside. In the objective world, January, December, you can speak a year, a decade, century, millennium. But inside the brain, there is no age. I have anticipated everything. And then here, if there is no age, well, hey, relax. No. It's a very big pain, and this is what you call a suicidal state. Person can make end to these sort of angst, depression, to make an end to it. That's what it is. This is a general case. Other cases where a person is under an extreme frustration, pressure, frustration, situations differ from one country to another, from one culture to another, but this is basically what it is. Go to the statistics. You find those countries of the high-tech north, the highest. Talking about the suicidal rate. Because they have everything. It's not because they lack. They have everything and they commit suicide. There's nothing left behind. There's no kind of things, hope is existing. Everything is consumed. Let's leave this aside. We live in a world of monopole, especially in these recent history. What do you mean by a monopole? Success is a monopole, is restricted. Is seen, we have an image, quintessential image of perfection, of idealism, of success. Quintessential, that's perfect, it's utopian. If you don't belong to that, therefore you are excluded. You are pushed off, left off, and directly you are not welcomed, because the audience that's supposed to validate you, it's not going to validate you. Am I going far? No. Give me a small example. How women is pictured or portrayed in this modern life. Magazines, like magazines, like newspapers, social media, on TV. She's always, thin. We don't use the word skinny. She's svelte. Yes. And this is admired. She is admirable. Why she is admirable? Because of certain criteria. I'm going to talk to them shortly. Now, if you are not like her, you are full body. Or, what's a word? Another word, maybe curvy. Rubenesque, full body, full figure. You are excluded. Nobody's going to look at you. So everything is a monopole. It has to be there. Well, some women, you can count them with your fingers. They have a strong character. They don't mind about that. They don't worry about that. But the majority of people, you find them, they do the impossible to be infiltrated in that restricted area. Monopole of quintessential image. You have to be there. This is how success is pictured. And again, as you can see today, this plastic surgery, sorry to say it, breast augmentation, etc. A woman is pictured. I give an example, that's not my topic, okay? Just I gave an example because a teenager, she's raised in a society where there is no strong or strength of character. Just to show off, run. If you cannot reach that success, that's anxiety. You feel depressed. Well, that rich, it's a false. You have a lot of people, they reached that success and they committed suicide. From Hollywood, they had everything. If you don't reach it, it's even worse. That doesn't mean you fail. In both cases, there is a stress. It's like in a stock market, if you have ever traded, I'm talking to you from an experience. A future market. The future market is, especially in a foreign currency, you make money, you make a lot of money, you make money, there is stress. You don't make money, there is stress. In either case, you are under stress. You understand? That's happiness, it's a false happiness. The other one is a false sadness. Anyway, let's just leave this aside. We did it during our Jahiliyyah. Okay, anyway, getting back to the restricted area, you have to be here, otherwise you are excluded. You are pushed off. And then it doesn't stop there. Society was raised with the challenge. If this person who seems to be a lovable, approachable, kissable, huggable, squeezable, she's gonna bully the others. You get my point here? Bullying, it's everything is, I'm better than you. They don't do it, there is a smile, but the bombardment are there. So the others, what they feel being excluded, left off, pushed off, and that's the angst, which is misplaced as well. We are talking about what's going on, causes and cases. Is there a remedy to this? Before we talk about that, speak about two examples, or one example from two countries. In Russia, after the collapse of the communism, suicidal rate doubled. There was a suicidal rate, high, around 30,000 around before. After in the 90s, it doubled up to 60-ish, 65. I don't know today. China is one of the highest in the world. You know what I'm saying? And why is this? In both cases, those people were living under communism. And then all of a sudden, there is a capitalism. And a capitalism is, you know what I'm saying? It's a freedom. It's freedom of speech. It's the promised land. And you have to speak English. You have to learn English. And once you learn English, you can go to the promised land. If you cannot reach, therefore, you are not happy. All these kind of juxtaposed, illogic logic is infiltrated into people's minds. During the communism, everything was secured for them. I'm not saying it was good. Communism is another regime. Capitalism is the guillotine of the emotions. Communism is the Holocaust of the emotions, both cases. You understand? So in order to have a character to understand both of them, there is a big analysis, not my topic to speak about this. But the thing is, those two countries, everything was secured, don't worry. The government, during a time, claimed to secure everything. We don't let people deal with each other. The flow of the emotions between rich, poor, no, everything is the monopoly of the government. You are an executant. And then all of a sudden, the regime changed, or they include, or they infiltrate, or the second regime there, which is the capitalism, people got lost. The Russian girl, how is she? If it was the case of, you know what I'm saying? The regime comes in a second position. It's not the primary reason of, the suicide. No. People got lost. There is no uniqueness. There is no me. I have to be in that collectivity, admirable social strata for me to be validated, and then I'm happy. In the Russian case is, you are pretty. You are welcome to be in the United States, in America, maybe to go to Brighton Beach. If you are in Russia, you're not happy. You are not, because people, they can be. Now, as I said, which country? Go to the statistics. Look at the world. We live in a world where you can have, in a one click of a finger, you can have information from everywhere. Which countries have the lowest case, like suicidal cases or rate in the world? You find them in Muslims. Not talking today or previous decades, these last few decades. I'm not talking about this now, because today everything is westernized. Youngsters are just influenced by the West. They act, they behave like that. There is religion, but they behave, attitude, behavior, personality, everything is westernized, everything. You understand? What I'm talking about now. There was no such a thing existing about the word rate. Doesn't exist. I was raised in an Arab world, in a Muslim world, and I lived perhaps half of my life outside the country in the Western world. I have never heard two cases. One girl, she jumped from the balcony because of love. Because of love. The love, because that love, the love that cannot be it's not commercial, that's love. What is love? You cannot explain it. That's what, because of love. Another one, she committed suicide too. In the whole country, I never heard of anything existing. Why is that? There is particularity about those countries. Those countries, they believe that there is my will, there is God's will. They are satisfied with what they have. They reach this, they know this is a self-aggrandizement, it doesn't go far, they're going to collapse anyway. So they maintain this state of humility. You hear an expression, this expression is better known than Coca-Cola in the world. So you say, Inshallah, you hear it, everybody knows it. Inshallah, God's will, with God's help, if God permits that, if God allows that. All of these expressions, they are inside in one, Inshallah. Whatever they do, they say God knows best. They don't take the definite. They don't draw the line with pencil stressing, that's it. No, they don't go with this. Others, they follow the West. But I'm talking about what dominates people's faith is this destiny. They believe in destiny is one of the 6 pillars of the faith in Islam. Those Islam, 5, faith, believing God, angels, books, prophets, Day of Judgment, and the destiny. Now, my uniqueness. The uniqueness, the disappearance of the uniqueness, that is what makes the person feel this anxiety, depression, and keep going. How to develop uniqueness? Uniqueness is not a position at work. I finished university. Today, people, when they meet each other, especially, I'm talking, is a corporation met a corporation. Corporation is eating with a corporation. A group of corporations, these corporations, they meet in the party. Hi, I did Columbia. My name is Johnny B. Good. I did Harvard. My name is Johnny Rainbow. The next one. Hi, my name is Johnny Cochran. I did Princeton, New Jersey. It's a corporate, everybody is applying for a job. I don't understand. In the old school, people introduce themselves with their names. Say, my name is Johnny B. Good. Stop there. You know what I'm saying? Don't make others on a kind of humiliated spot. Don't provoke that. That's a civilized world. But today, look at that. How to intimidate you. You are excluded. You, for instance, you are a plumber. You man, you have to be outside. Cannot be there. You get my point. You are a plumber. I'll be outside. Carpenter, no, don't enter. Restricted area. This it is only for la race des seigneurs. The uniqueness is not developed with a position at work. Show off, as you can see today. That's not uniqueness. You just get melted in the social strata, in an arena. Just get melted. When you come back to yourself, you feel the emptiness, and you know it. You do what other people didn't do because your uniqueness is not similar to others. We are 10 billion people. An example, 7, 8, I don't know. 10 billion. Each one has his own uniqueness. How uniqueness? How? Your uniqueness is the time that you seize from the objective time outside the world. The objective time that applies on the whole world. You have your own uniqueness with your presence of mind. You seize it and you do something good. If you do your prayer, if you do something with what we call today, we don't pay attention to these things. I'm going to give a small example. You feel it, nobody felt it. This is your uniqueness. It's not to be unique, to look for uniqueness, as they say in Buddhism or Hinduism. By the time those disciples, they come to the monk and they tell him, I'm looking for an enlightenment. They give them a broom and they tell them, sweep the streets. Why, master, me, I came for enlightenment. Are you kidding me? By the time they verbalize these words, they know then that they are not for that, of course. But we're talking about enlightenment. The uniqueness that you feel it, you humble yourself, you do certain things, very good things. You're not looking for the destination. It will be exposed to you by itself. The destination is unknown. If you know it, then no longer is yours. It belongs to someone else. And that's the angst. I speak an automaton, the one who is behaving without conscious awareness. Can we attribute a time to such a person? No, it's an automaton. Presence of mind, what can you grasp? A segment of time, that's the moment that you seize the time. That is the time inside your neurons. We say neurons is just your psyche. Yeah, I'm going to give it a small story. It's a hadith Qudsi. We can understand, I mentioned it a few times in other. When God created earth started shaking. Started shaking. Then God created the mountains to stabilize the rotation of the earth. Was stabilized, balanced. By divine inspiration, God provoked that. The angels asked God, said, "Our Lord, have you created anything stronger than the mountains?" He said, "The iron." Next question, "God, have you created anything stronger than the iron?" He said, "Yes, the fire." "Our Lord, have you created anything stronger than the fire?" He said, "Yes, the water." "Our Lord, have you created anything stronger than the fire?" He said, "Yes, the wind." First was the mountains. Mountains, solid, big, gigantic, and then it gets to the iron. The iron is a part of it. And then start being fluidity, fire, and then liquidity, liquid, and then it gets evaporated. He said, "Have you created anything stronger than the water?" He said, "Yes, the wind." At the end that they said, "Our Lord, have you created anything stronger than the wind?" The wind, you don't even see it. The water gets evaporated in H2O. Where is it? It doesn't stick, doesn't everywhere. There is nowhere. The word is excluded, is that they everywhere. He said yes, the end, the last answer to the question. He said the son of Adam, his left hand is not aware of what his right hand had given. Charity. A charity that the son of Adam gives. His left hand ignores what his right hand had given. Wow. Who gave these instruction of the charity? The hand went by itself. The CNS. It's the central nervous system who gives those instructions. But why? In the beginning of the hadith, God said, created the earth started shaking. Come on, God didn't know about that, but why he did it? God forgot it, astaghfirullah. Bear in mind, the sun, the distance of the sun from the earth or the earth from the sun, if they approach with some milli, the planet Earth will burn. If the distance gets longer than that, than milli, it will freeze. All of these knowledge أنزله بعلمه والملائكة يشهدون. Did he forget? But to human being, the imbalance, the shaking of the earth is your imbalance, is not his. Don't attribute it to God. What is the link about the emotions, how they got? The nervous system gave instructions but doesn't stick to, because and therefore, and which implies. It's open. You try always to understand things in religion. Why people don't like religion? Because it doesn't give them a definite answer. And they're looking. I'm going to give story shortly to this. If I tell you the destination and the results is going to be a palm tree there. Do this, you're going to have that. You reach the destination, there will be a palm tree. Next time when you do it with that condition, you stick to the palm tree. Well, the macrocosm, it does not expose itself like this. Impossible, the macrocosm in a constant flow of metamorphism. There's a small folder here. Few minutes before, if you go to the quantum mechanics and you analyze the particles that are existing, that were before and now they are different. That doesn't expose itself similarly as the previous time. It's different. You adapt yourself to this macrocosm with your microcosm. As I said about this calculation, there was a saint, some of them they say is a prophet, saint. This is a very ancient time before prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This person got sick. He prayed to God, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. And somehow, usually, God doesn't give you right away. Sometimes He gives you right away. But this effort, prayers, they are developing something inside you. Don't give up. God answered him. He said, go to such a plant. He went to that plant and it cured him. He got healed. Cured, fine. Few years after, he got the same sickness. He went to the same plant. It didn't do anything to him. And he started crying, my Lord, why? The first time, God told him the first time you came to me. The second time you went to the plant. Story finished here. Instead of rushing to the words or to the criticism about the fanatism, whatever, why can't we just sit on a table of intellectualism? It needs an effort. The first time when he was praying, what happened to his hypothalamus or his psyche, just take a general word, nervous system, was expecting from the everywhere. And what is the everywhere? Could be from animal world, could be from the mineral world, could be from the vegetable world. What God gave him about the tree, say there was a magnesium. Magnesium is here before you go to the plant. It was just to confirm the conformity. The second time, when he went to the precision, was the hypothalamus, his psyche, was it functioning the same thing as the previous case? No, it has a prevision, it has a precision. That's why it didn't do anything to him. What are we deducing here? There is no calculation. When we say you do good things in life, speaking about the charity, the case that we spoke earlier, the prayer, where you withdraw yourself from this restricted world, which is a labyrinth to the psyche, this is where resides the stress before it reaches the suicidal state. I give the example not because they are Arabs or whatever, that's the truth. That's the truth. You don't find it in a Muslim world, the suicidal case like it is in the North, high-tech North. They have everything. They don't live the time. They monopolize the time with the I, with an identity that they feel happy at the moment, and then this identity of the self-aggrandizement we see today about the self-esteem, it creates always competitors. The person will develop according to him and to her. According to him, he's happy. If he sees people passing him much better than him, he feels really kind of like depressed. We don't show it. Getting back to the hypothalamus, they tell you all feelings are chemically induced in a brain. Chemically induced. They analyze the symptoms. In other words, there is a small, under the CNS central nervous system, the hypothalamus is a small motor and the subcortical region of the brain that's ejaculating these chemicals through the bloodstream, the whole body. If there is a lack of serotonin or an interruption, this is where stress, person feel irritation, stress, cramps, back pain, backache, a lot of things. A lack of sleep, hunger, a lack appetite, or he eats a lot. This is total imbalance about that, chemically induced in the body. when you don't exercise them, does the body, does the brain exercise or not? But of course it does exercise. It's an effort when the nervous system gives order to give. The ego tells you don't give. Ego wants the tent. Lives in a tent, in a labyrinth. But the nervous system that is, for God's sake, this is the time. What is the time in the brain? With all these moral values that you struggle, you do it in the moment, you're going to find later. Such a joy, no one can explain it to you. Other than this, when you abandon this, which is your uniqueness, which is the seizing of the time, your unique time with these moral values while being exposed to the Lord, that doesn't have the where, doesn't have the how, and doesn't have the when. That's the expansion of the emotions, as we spoke earlier about the charity. If you fail to do so, then you go to the psychiatrist. I'm not against that. The best thing is going to talk to you. This. What do they do to you? What was inside? We name a few. They say GABA, serotonin, dopamine. They will no longer be manufactured, made by these hypothalamus. That's it. You go outside. OTC. Well, it's not an OTC. As we say, over the counter. We mean that prescribed by. Of course, you're going to buy them. They are the same thing replaced. You are excluded and you buy, and then how do you feel? Being anxious, anxiety, depression, irritated for minor reason, a person wants to blow up. All of these, before they reach suicidal stage, all of these, society today is transferred to the chemo system. Somehow someone outside cannot, perhaps, is going to go to this. Another one, pills. Another one, it is replaceable. What wasn't being manufactured naturally in the person's brain is going to be bought outside from OTC to recuperate that. When you become dependable, that's it. Here, you cannot even trust yourself when you are happy and we are sad. Your partner, your person who is with you, you don't even know if you see him sometimes, oh, nice man, very happy, because all those chemicals are there. If the body, the brain runs out of those chemicals, he or she will surprise you with something unbelievable, unexpectedly. That's not true. Listen, it's a very sensitive topic. Statistics, we don't need to go to that. Everywhere. Very stressful. Look at that, especially those advanced countries. May the Lord open every door of prosperity to you and to your families. And I see you soon.